Hello and welcome back to Kim's Cozy Corner. I'm Kim and we are outside. We're going to do some garden cleanup. And last night we had a little bit of wind, so we need to see what's going on in the garden. So I am in Southwest Ohio, Zone 6A, and over the past week we have had weather in the 80 degrees, high 80s at that earlier in the week. And as the weather has started to change to fall, we received a pretty heavy windstorm last night that I wasn't expecting. I was expecting some wind today, but not last night. And we're going to go into the garden and see what kind of damage we have, as well as this cold weather that I wasn't expecting today. We're going to see the effects of that as well. Last night, I tell you, once the sun went down, the wind started whipping and it was blowing like crazy. And I'm like, whoa, that's supposed to be tomorrow. And so I stepped out here this morning and my tomato plant has been completely broken off at the bottom of the stem here and it has fallen over. So I'm going to have to just harvest the tomato that's blushing on this plant. And then we probably will just pull this up and call it quits for the season. Tonight, the temperature is supposed to get down into the high 30s. And then that's going to be the plan for the next few days. So we are going to want to start pulling out those frost covers. Even if we're not getting frost, some of my summer plants just don't like that kind of weather. So we're going to start using our frost covers as well. But right now, let's see what kind of damage we have in the garden. In this space here, my tomato plants, which weren't supported very well to begin with, they've fallen over. So we're going to have to harvest those tomatoes. And I tell you what, it's cold. It's like 42 degrees out here and it's like 10 a.m. in the morning. So this is very chilly for some tomatoes and some of the other crops that I have out here. Let's see what else we got going on. The peas in this container right here are all blown over and they're not happy. So we're going to go ahead and harvest some of these peas that are already starting to dry out, and we'll get a frost cover on these for tonight to see if we can extend it at least one more week. If we can get at least one more week, that's at least a few more peas than I expected to get. In this space here, it looks like some of my flowers broken off pretty low down the stem. Like this one, look at this one here, look at that. Completely broke off from the wind and they weren't being supported or anything. So that's okay. That's okay. They're at the end of their season anyway. Now I got to get some gloves on. I'm cold. But I don't see a lot of major damage here to any of the vegetables. But we are going to go ahead and work on cleaning this garden up some more. I have some GreenStalks that I need to take apart, and we're going to go ahead and harvest some of these things that are blushing. And, oh, let me show you this. Now, I've been talking about my tomato plants and how well they're doing, and they have completely fallen back and over from the wind last night. Let's see if I can find a way to give them a little support. The vines are all bent over, but at least they didn't break all the way off. Let's see if I can make some adjustments. And I'll probably put some kind of frost cover over this particular one. Yeah, like this is all the way over. But these tomatoes, the little ones, they're not going to make it. I'm going to try to save as many of these big ones as I can by putting the frost cover over it tonight. But I believe by the end of next week, we're going to be done with tomatoes. But let's see if we can get at least one more week out of it with a frost cover. When I said that wind was whipping, look at all those flowers. They're all bent over that way. All of these flowers are pushed over that way from the wind. Up here as well, everything's pushed over. In the grand scheme of things, even though there's some vines that are bent over, some flowers that have been ripped out, it's not that bad because we are in October. And so we are going to go ahead and finish cleaning this garden up. We're going to harvest what we can harvest. We're going to tear down some green stalks. So let me just get to work because it's cold. The more I move, the warmer I'll be. It's time to take down all of this trellising. In the process of breaking down the GreenStalk, I needed to take off first all of the trellising that I had on the GreenStalk, and then individually pick up each of the tiers in preparation to get them ready to be emptied and saved for next year. So I always put my soil into a container at the end of the season for my green stalks, and then I just place my green stalks upside down next to my garden here, waiting for the next season. When I have room, I'll put it inside my shed, but if there's no room, I just leave it outside, upside down, and I've had them for 3 years and there's no degradation of any kind. It's holding up to the weather, even though I'm leaving them out in the weather all winter. So let me get these dumped. And they just nest inside of each other. And then I just put them upside down over here. So let me keep emptying all the green stalks as I'm cleaning up the garden. In my jungle here, the wind completely broke off this cantaloupe here. I mean, there's the stem right there, completely broke off. So this cantaloupe might ripen inside, but I seriously doubt it. But we will take it inside. I don't think it's going to make it, but we're going to take it inside anyway. These flowers are all broken off as well. That change from those 80-degree temperatures down to the 40s was just too much for the cantaloupe. At least I've warmed up. Emptying all the soil out of those green stalks warmed me up just a little bit. Oh, that's broke off. That's not going to make it. Now, I'm not going to cover these, but we'll see if they can make it through this cold snap that's coming through here. Moving down to the green beans that I said I wasn't going to pick anymore, that I continued to pick, that continue to come in. They're just so delicious, and they are producing so well for this October day. So we're going to go ahead and pick these and freeze them because I'm done canning for the year, and either give it to a friend or a family member to enjoy later on. But we're not drying anymore. It's interesting because I had stopped picking these pole beans, and I mean for several weeks. I just stopped picking them. I said I was going to let them dry. I started picking them again after sitting here for, I don't know, maybe a couple of weeks or more. And immediately they started producing like crazy again. So the more you pick, the more they produce. I'm just not quite sure what this weather is going to bring me here over the next week, so I don't want to lose them. It's probably hard to see, but they have already started dying back and drying out, being this late in the season. So the vines themselves don't look so great, but these beans are amazing. And they're everywhere. Oh my goodness, everywhere. So up there, they are drying back and pretty much done. But down low here, beans are everywhere and I'm dropping them. Oh, they smell so good. They smell like summer. There's just so many. I don't think I've ever harvested beans into October like this before. And for those who don't follow me, this is a total, I think it was 8 plants. Let me double check. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, there were only 8 plants here. 8. And I've been picking beans from here since, I believe, May. I have a 2-year supply of beans in the house already. Now, I have pole beans, but I did also have some bush beans as well. So they didn't all come from here, but these started coming in as my bush beans were dying back, and I've been picking here ever since. We're gonna go ahead and pick these paprika peppers. They're blushing, but they're not red, but we're gonna go ahead and pick them anyway because I'm not gonna protect this plant. These are Jimmy Nardello. They're frying peppers. They're supposed to be sweet, but they're also supposed to be red. We're gonna go ahead and pick them. We'll chop them up, put them in the freezer so we can eat them later. They're not gonna take this cold weather either. There's a baby eggplant. I think this is the last of my summer squash. I have 2 scallops here, white scallops. Now, let me be clear, the garden's not done. It's just fall season. So I have cabbage and broccolis and bok choy growing. I have broccoli and cauliflower and kohlrabi growing and carrots. So there's still things growing in the garden, but just not the summer things. I have things that I just recently started that can handle a frost. So we will still be enjoying the garden, hopefully for another month or so. These are medium heat peppers, and I need to find another container. I like to separate my medium heat peppers from my sweet peppers so that my family's aware of what they're eating. We don't want anything to sneak up on them. So I'm going to go ahead and harvest these pretty heavy. At this point, I don't think they're going to turn red, but we will enjoy them green, which is okay as well. I have one teeny little sugar baby watermelon. The little tendril has died back. I'm gonna be honest though, I don't think this one was quite ready, but the weather is saying I need to pick it, so here it is. Sugar baby watermelon. So there's a few dried peas here. These are cream zipper peas, field peas, southern peas, black-eyed peas, all of those kind of peas are in the same family. Pinto beans, black beans, these are all a drying type pea. I tell you what, I might have to try to find a frost cover for this. There's too many on here. I don't want to lose them. I will definitely make room in my garden for these next year since I don't need to plant as many green beans. Since I have 2-year supply, I can really back off of that, which will free up more space in my raised beds and my pots so that I can get a pea harvest next year. I have cantaloupes that I'm not going to cover. There's one. It's actually cracking a little bit, so it needed to be picked anyway. Oh, that one's heavy. Uh-oh, something's been eating at this one. We'll get this one cut open today and see what's going on inside. But yes, something's been eating at it. There are tomatoes in here. The jungle has provided so much food for me this year. And this is the jungle. Now, in this space here, this year alone, just this year, I grew Napa cabbage. I grew a ton of onion in this space and carrots in this space. And after I removed all of that, I came back with cantaloupes. And I've been harvesting cantaloupes out of here now for a few weeks. And I've never gotten cantaloupes before. So cantaloupes. I've have tomatoes back here we've been harvesting off of all year long. And down here, I have some peas that are blooming, but with the change of the weather, I have actual peas on here as well. With the change of the weather, I don't think they're going to make it, and I'm not going to cover these since I'm covering on the other side. But this has been by far my most productive bed that has had a variety of things in it. So I'm not talking about a bed that's full of just tomatoes. This bed has had tomatoes, cantaloupe, cabbage, carrots, onion, peas. I mean, and I think we had one squash too that made it. So very productive bed. So you can see the tomato tower is completely gone and put away. And now we are going to harvest the sweet peppers off of this tower. Now my baskets are getting full today because I really didn't want to harvest this much. But I am going to go ahead and harvest some of my bigger sweet peppers, but they're green, so they're not going to be that sweet, but they're going to taste just like a green bell pepper. They will have some sweetness to it. I'm going to do a big canning day tomorrow, and I need peppers for that. I'm not going to harvest everything, though. I am going to try putting a frost cover on this to see if I can extend the season on this tower. There's some pretty small bell peppers on here as well. And let's see if we can extend the season. If not, it's been a good season nonetheless. A very good season. Like some of these want to turn red. Look, I mean, it was almost there. This will be perfect for the canning project that I have tomorrow. And I know these look like cayenne peppers, but these are Jimmy Nardellos. It's going to be a beautiful green frying pepper. It's a nice batch of peppers for my project for tomorrow. And there's a nice sized worm trying to eat my pepper. We're not going to have that. You got to come out of there. Sorry, you're not welcome in my peppers. All right, I left a few on here so we can cover them every night over the next week, and then I'll come back and pick them clean probably next week. Hopefully we get just a teeny little more growth on them, and then we will just freeze everything so we don't lose anything. Well, here's my little harvest. Sweet or medium heat peppers. I have cantaloupes and tomatoes and squash and green beans and peas and a basket of green peppers, or that would have been sweet peppers. So wasn't really trying to harvest, but I didn't want the cool weather coming in to take the harvest away from me. Thanks for coming with me with this really quick garden cleanup after a windstorm last night, picking some vegetables so that we don't lose them with this changing weather that's here with us. If you enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, like, share, turn on notifications, and I'll keep these videos coming just for you. And until next time, and I hope there will be a next time, bye.